Welcome, Middlers, to the Medium in the Middle podcast. My name is Stephanie, and I take you on a journey of self-discovery and spiritual exploration. I am a Reiki master teacher, a spiritual and business mentor, and of course, a psychic medium. And I am here to share my story and help you tap into your extraordinary abilities. Join me every Wednesday as we dive into the realms of intuition, energy healing, and all things mystical. Whether you're a seasoned spiritual seeker or just dipping your toes into the magical waters, this podcast is your go-to source for inspiration, guidance, and a whole lot of lessons and laughter along the way. Let's get started. Hello, Middlers. Welcome to episode 293. My name is Stephanie. I am the medium in the middle. And as I was just typing episode 293, I realized we are only 7 episodes away from episode 300. 300 episodes of Medium in the Middle. Oh my goodness. So whether you've been here since episode 1 or you've listened since episode 1 or you are a new listener, welcome and thank you for being with me along this journey. This podcast shares my journey into mediumship, and its purpose is to help you as you develop on your spiritual path in any way that looks like for you. There are so many things that I share on this podcast that took me years to learn. And my goal of this podcast is that hopefully these lessons don't take you years. Hopefully the information I provide to you on this podcast for free every week just helps you realize things sooner and faster, because I know when I was developing, I felt so alone. I had no one to talk to. I had no one who understood this stuff. And this podcast is creating the community I wish I had 8 years ago. So my last few episodes, we've been talking a lot about energy, and I've gotten a few comments asking if I could talk about what does other people's energy feel like on you. And this is a great topic to talk about because I find a lot of people don't realize what is their energy and what is not their energy. So I'm going to give you as many examples as possible of what I commonly see as other people's energies that people don't realize. Most anxiety I find is other people's energy. Overwhelm, anxiousness, can't sleep at night. Those are all common symptoms of other people's energies on you. And when you learn about your own energy, and when you learn to clear your energy, and when you learn to identify energy that's not yours, it makes it so easy to be like, oh, that's not mine. Clear it. Bye. Done. It's like a foreign invader. It's like, that doesn't belong here. That doesn't live here. That's not me. So hopefully this episode gives you a lot of examples that will help you start to identify other foreign energy in your life, which will help you clear your energy, which will in turn help you feel better. And I have lots of episodes of how to clear your energy, how to set boundaries. So if you need help with that after this episode, just search Medium in the Middle Clearing, Medium in the Middle Boundaries, Medium in the Middle Energy, and lots of episodes will come up for you. My hopeful outcome for you of this episode is that these things will make you have a few aha moments to be like, what? That's not my energy? What? Other people don't feel like that? And find the parts in your life that you can shift and change. But learning how to clear your energy we should teach this in kindergarten, because it would change our lives, our perspectives, how we move through the world. Everyone that tells me that they don't like crowds, that's just an overwhelm of other people's energies. You can boundary against that. You can clear against that. You can do so many things that you can actually enjoy crowds and they won't energetically bother you. And then you could come home and feel totally fine. That exists. I know that because that used to be me. I used to not be able to go, not even, let's even say a huge crowd like a concert. I used to not be able to go to the grocery store. I used to not be able to go out for dinner without having an anxiety attack. I used to not be able to sit in a yoga class with people sitting beside me. And I just thought I had social anxiety. I just thought I was anxious. I just thought I had panic attacks all the time. I was just constantly hiding in the bathroom because that was the only place I felt better. If the only place you feel better is where other people are not around, that means that it's the energy that's bothering you. You are completely fine. You are normal. You are just sensitive to energy. And once you learn that, once you learn how to control it, once you learn how to clear, once you learn how to set boundaries, your life will change. So this podcast episode is for you. And I find, I don't want to say almost everybody is sensitive to energy, but a lot of people are sensitive to energy. Not everyone has the awareness of it. Not everyone's paying attention to it. But there are a lot of empaths out there. We are all feeling and sensing things all day, every day. And if you are never clearing your energy, you are just becoming dirtier and dirtier and dirtier, metaphorically speaking. And when you get dirtier, it's harder to know what is yours and what is not yours. I always like to use the example of a white shirt. How come when I wear a white shirt, I always drop something on my chest and I'm like, oh, like a droplet of coffee. Look at it. And why do I only do this when I'm wearing a white shirt? I probably do that when I'm wearing a black shirt, but I don't notice. I probably do it when I'm wearing a brown shirt, but I don't notice. But of course, when I'm wearing a white shirt, I notice. So right now you're all wearing black shirts and you're not noticing. As soon as your shirt is white and you notice every little speckle that falls on that white shirt, then it's like, oh, that spot of coffee is not my energy. Oh, that crumb that fell off of my mouth from lunch is not my energy. Oh, it makes it so easy to see when your shirt is white. But if your shirt is dark and you can't see all those little things that happen all day, every day, you don't realize your shirt is dirty. We all know when something white is dirty because it's so glaringly obvious. That's where you want to get your energy awareness to, is a white shirt that is so glaringly obvious when there's any little speckle of dirt or somebody else on that shirt. And my biggest tip for understanding your energy is, and always has been, Reiki Level 1 course. Take a Reiki course. It doesn't have to be with me. It can be with anyone that you find and you connect with and you vibe with and you want to learn with. But Reiki Level 1 is all about you and your energy. It is all about learning about your home, your shirt. It's learning that your shirt right now is black or brown or dark purple and you want your shirt to be white. And the journey from a purple shirt to a white shirt is a long journey. But as soon as your shirt is white, you will notice any little speckle on it, which makes it very easy to identify other people's energy. So there's lots of things you can learn about clearing your energy, about boundaries. Again, I have lots of podcast episodes to help you. You can read about it, but Reiki Level 1 will really help with this. That's why I love it so much. It's my favorite course to teach because everyone realizes, oh, my shirt's been brown or black. And I actually want a shirt that's white so that I know when there's anything on it, I can see the speckles. So speaking of Level 1, my shameless plug always, my next course is happening on February 7th and 8th, or if you are finally ready to pull the trigger and learn about Reiki. Reiki Level 1 is focused on you. We start at home. You learn all about your energy. You learn everything for you first. You have to learn about the shirt you're wearing first, because that is what's going to help you understand how you work with energy. The next Reiki Level 2 is February 21st and 22nd. And the upcoming mediumship practice circles, there's one, depending on when you're listening to this tonight, January 28th at 6:15 p.m. Registration is open until 2 hours prior. And the next one in February is February 28th. I will be adding another evening circle to February, so just stay tuned for that. But let's jump right in and talk about other people's energy and what it feels like, and how you can start to identify what is on your shirt. I have to start with the first one, and I see this so much with my mentees, with my clients, with people I work with. It's anxiety. If you are anxious for no reason, or you don't know why you're anxious, or if you're anxious constantly, or if you're always anxious when you're around other people, start to pay attention to when you are more anxious. If you come home and all of a sudden you feel better, that's other people's energy. If you are really anxious in a crowd, that's other people's energy. If you are only anxious when you're at work or standing in line or there's a lot of people around, that's other people's energy. There is nothing wrong with you. You are totally fine. You are just sensitive to energy, and it makes you anxious because it's overwhelming to have lots of droplets on your shirt. Now it's like, whoa, what is mine? What is not mine? I'm carrying all these droplets like they're mine. So now I'm confused and now I'm anxious and now I'm overwhelmed. Energy without awareness is confusion and anxiety. I repeat, energy without awareness is confusion and anxiety. So really start to pay attention to when you feel anxious and overwhelmed and when does it get better? Because if it only happens when you're outside of the home and then when you're at home, it goes away, that's a clear sign that it's other people's energy. However, this can also be spirit. So say it only happens when you're alone, then my first guess would be that's spirit then. And they're trying to get your attention because why would you be all of a sudden anxious if you're sitting at home alone? Another common thing I see is problems with sleep. If you can't fall asleep or you can't stay asleep, that can be other people's energies. So some people are like, oh, I have a racing mind. If the racing mind is about you, so, oh, I have a work thing tomorrow and oh, I am worried about this thing on the weekend and oh, my kids and I have to get groceries and laundry and oh, I'm so stressed. Okay, fine, that's your energy. But if your brain kind of feels like it's all over the place, it's not really clear, it's just a lot of gibberish, it's here, it's there, it's confusing, it's a lot of nothing, it's a lot of what? That's other people's energies. Think about your ears, quite literally, like a room full of people. If the people talking in the room is you and you're like, oh, I'm worried about this thing tomorrow at work and oh, I can't sleep because I'm stressed about my kids and oh, I can't sleep. Okay, yes, that's your energy. But if there's a bunch of people in your ears that you don't know, it'll just sound like a crowd. So similar to when you like hear a crowd, you can't hear anyone's specific conversation, but it sounds like it's like, you know, there's something there, but it's indescribable. That's other people's energies. Same thing if you dream crazy dreams that are all gibberish. That's very often other people's energies. Your subconscious mind is just processing through the energy as you sleep because it has no other time to process it. So it will make your dreams feel crazy. Again, if your dreams are about you, if your dreams are relevant, if your dreams are about something you're going through in your own life, that's your own energy. But if it's gibberish, if it's busy work, that's your subconscious mind processing things when you're asleep because you're not processing things when you're awake. Another common sign I see is exhaustion. If you are constantly tired and bogged down, those are spots on your shirt. That is other people's energies piling on your back. You guys have heard me say it before. Other people's energies are like suitcases. So you have your own suitcases and then you have your other people's suitcases, your parents, your kids, your best friend, work, your partner. Now you're carrying 12 suitcases wondering why you can't walk straight and your back hurts. 10 of those suitcases aren't yours, that's why. But we don't realize that we pick up other people's problems and energy. So if you are constantly tired, again, for no reason, this isn't like I went for a big hike, I'm tired. I work a very vigorous job for 8 hours, I'm tired. No, if you are just constantly tired for an unknown reason, that's energy. And I'm just going to take a little break here to give you an example of this. So when I notice this the most is when I go back to visit my family. So my family lives on the other side of the country and I see them maybe one week a year. So when I go home to visit them, this is when I notice all of these symptoms come back for me that I do not have in my everyday life. And it was actually the last time I went home to visit that it was very bad, very, very bad. And I was having a very hard time clearing and I was having a very hard time staying above the water. And I was like, why is this like this? I'm normally fine. And I thought to myself, yeah, I'm normally fine because in my life here in Banff, everything is so curated and my life is by design. I do things I like. I only hang out with people I like. I only do things I like. I watch who I surround myself with. I constantly am clearing my energy in my home and my space and my office. And I sleep well and I sleep in a space that I'm comfortable in. And it really made me think about all the people who don't have that opportunity, how much harder you have to work for clear energy. Because yes, when I go home for a week, it is difficult. And when I don't have all my tools or my own space, it is very, very hard to stay on top of my energetic hygiene when I'm in someone else's house, I'm sleeping in someone else's room, when there are 15 family members all around me all day and people that I don't know and people talking about things I wouldn't normally talk about and having to listen to things I wouldn't normally listen to. It does become very difficult. So I do want to also acknowledge that this isn't an easy task and it is something you have to do daily. I am constantly clearing my energy. Again, I'm an energy worker, so I'm an energy clean freak. But I would say I clear myself between 8 to 15 times a day or more if I'm out in public. And that's before work, before and after every single client, after work. If I ever go out in public and I come home, I clear. If I'm out at, again, a bar, a party, I will clear multiple times while I'm out. So say I'm at a bar, I might go to the bathroom 3 or 4 times a night just to clear my energy, wash my hands, reset, pull my awareness back to be like, okay, I'm feeling overwhelmed because other people's energies. And there have been many, many times where I have to say to my friends, guys, like, my shirt's too dirty. I have to go home. And I know I have to go home and clear in order for me to go to bed at night. Of course, I don't want it to get to that point. I don't want to have to be leaving events in order to feel normal, but I just know myself. And if there's a lot of people around and a lot of people have been touching me, I will have a very hard time keeping my shirt clear. There was a new bar that recently opened in Banff, and it has couches and chairs, like really comfy couches and chairs. So we went for the opening weekend and we were all sitting on couches and chairs. So we were all sitting like very close to each other. We were sharing chairs. We were sitting on each other's laps. We were, 5, 6 people on a couch that should probably sit 3. And that night I had such a difficult time falling asleep. And I was just thinking to myself, why am I having such difficulty clearing? I was in the shower forever. I was burping. I was in the bathroom trying to clear my energy so I could go to bed. And it wasn't until the next day I was like, oh, it was because we were sitting on couches and sharing chairs and we were all shoved into this corner. And normally we don't sit like that. We'll stand or we'll all have our own chair, but we don't have bars that have couches like that. And I wasn't aware enough that night to be mindful of putting on my eggshell or doing something preventative. I was just out and excited and at this bar and sitting with, 20 people in a booth and, sharing chairs with people, having people sit on my lap or whatever it might be. And then I get home and I realize, oh no, my shirt's dirty. Oh no, my white shirt was dirty. This wasn't a time to wear my white shirt. I should have put a coat on, but I didn't. And now I'm dealing with it after when I get home. So even for me, sometimes I forget. I lost the awareness and then I got it back the next day when I was like, why didn't I sleep last night? Why didn't I have such a restless sleep? Why was I waking up? Why was I so uncomfortable when I got home? Like, what was so different about last night? Oh, couches. I was touching shoulders all night. Okay, so I want to jump back to how you can know or what would happen of other people's energies on you. Any sudden emotions that feel like they come out of nowhere. So if you're all of a sudden really angry, if you're all of a sudden really overwhelmed, if you're all of a sudden really sad, if you're all of a sudden really scared, that's other people's energy or spirit. All of these things should be other people's energies / or spirit because it could be both. But for most people, it's other people's energies, I would say. So if you all of a sudden have sudden mood shifts that don't match, that's probably not yours. Clear it. Same thing, emotions, clear it. Any odd physical sensations that come out of nowhere. Is all of a sudden your stomach bubbling? Are you all of a sudden burping? Are you all of a sudden coughing? Are you all of a sudden sneezing? Again, for no reason or out of nowhere. That's your body trying to naturally clear other people's energy. So same thing. You guys know, for me, it's burps. As soon as I start burping, I'm like, oh, my body's clearing something. What is it? And then I get curious, but I don't just burp for no reason. So if I'm sitting on the couch and I burp, or I'm trying to go to sleep and I burp, I'm like, oh, I had to clear something to go to sleep. So pay attention to anything like that. Like I mentioned, mental noise, looping thoughts that are not your own. So it feels like someone else's worries, stress, problems. Actually, I shouldn't even say it feels like someone else's, because if it felt like someone else's, you would know it was someone else's. So what I should say is if it feels like it's not yours. So unless it's for you, it's somebody else's. Unless it's your problems, your looping thoughts, your thinking about work, if it's not that, it's someone else's energy. Again, think about that white shirt, how easily it can get dirty by one little droplet. As soon as you notice the droplet, you realize how much you spill on your shirt all day. So just to rapid fire through, again, a few other things of that's probably other people's energy and not yours. Feeling stressed in crowded spaces, feeling overly emotional in crowded spaces, or feeling uncomfortable, feeling off with no explanation why, and it usually comes out of nowhere. Again, and you're usually out in public. If you're at home, that could be you, or that could be spirit. But if you're, all of a sudden you're at dinner and you just don't feel good, that's other people's energies. For me, it used to always happen around entrees. I was fine for appetizers. I was fine when we got our first drink. But as soon as we got our entrees, I would be hiding in the bathroom, so uncomfortable. I felt like I had to throw up. I felt like I was having a panic attack. I felt so uncomfortable. I had anxiety in my chest and I had to go home. And I would always leave. I'd be like, I'm so sorry. I have to pack up my entree. I have to go home. And I would walk home, walk in my door with my to-go box in my hand. And it was like a magic trick. I would walk in my front door and instantly feel better. And then I would be sitting down on my couch eating my to-go food, being like, oh, wow, I feel better. Not putting two and two together that as soon as I walked through my door, I felt better and I could eat my meal. At the restaurant, after I'd been there for 25, 30 minutes, I started to get more overwhelmed, and then it bursted and I had to leave. I am very happy to report that I have now used everything that I teach where I don't have to leave places, or I very rarely have to leave places in order to feel better. For the most part, give me a bathroom stall, give me a sink to wash my hands. I can clear myself and get back out there. I can enjoy concerts. I can enjoy crowds. I can lay beside someone in yoga class. I can do group events and not be overwhelmed. Why? Because I am off all the time. I am always in my eggshell. I am always wearing a bib over my white shirt. Always. I probably have 5 bibs on, to be honest. But I do so many things mindfully every single day to make sure my white shirt is not getting dirty. And if it does get dirty, I have a Tide to Go pen to get that stain out immediately. I don't wait for there to be 5 stains on my shirt, or 3 or 10. If there's one little drop of someone else's energy, you better believe I'm clearing it right away to make myself feel better instantly. So the last tip is, if everything gets better when you're alone, you're sensitive to other people's energies. You need to clear. You need to put on your eggshell. You need to go back and listen to my episodes, episode 50, episode 70, clearing, boundaries, so many things. I've talked about this for years. You guys have heard me yap about this. All of these things are normal, and it happens to all of us to be sensitive to this energy, but that doesn't mean you have to carry these suitcases. It doesn't mean you have to keep on your dirty shirt. As soon as you realize your shirt is dirty, you clean it, you clear it, you change it. This is going to support you in feeling better. So I hope this episode got you thinking about your energy, other people's energy, symptoms that can be related to other people's energies, and when you need to clear and set boundaries. Again, I have many episodes about clearing and setting boundaries to support you in putting on a bib or a coat over your white shirt to keep your shirt white and make sure you're not getting other people's energy on you and holding it and taking it home and going to bed and not being able to sleep and feeling anxious and overwhelmed and tired and all the things that come from energy that does not belong to you. This is the biggest thing I wish people could know about, because as soon as you realize that this energy isn't yours, you will feel like a brand new person. Again, if you're feeling ready to learn Reiki, my next level 1 is February 7th and 8th. It's a virtual course. It's 2 days, and it's all about you, your energy. We learn how to clear. We learn how to set boundaries. We learn how to start to feel what is yours and not yours. So if you feel like you need more help outside of all the free resources that I offer, The course is less than $300 Canadian. And the purpose of knowing what is your energy and other people's energy is that so we can all feel like normal human beings out in the world. You can go to concerts, you can sit at restaurants, you can sit in a yoga class and be focused and present and feel like yourself and have energy and know what is yours and know what is not yours. And all of the awareness that comes with, again, that white shirt, you will know exactly what each stain on your shirt is from. Oh, that's coffee. Oh, that's my lunch. Where did all of these energies come from? And then you take them off. Make sure you press subscribe. I release new episodes every Wednesday, and we're always talking about energy, mediumship, psychic, the woo-woo stuff, helping you develop in the spiritual world. But until next Wednesday, Midlers, when I see you in your ears, I hope you have a wonderful week. Bye, everybody.